In this episode, we're looking at an absolute giant, a 14-point buck out of Illinois. Now look, I don't have the backstory on him, but that opens up the door for us to talk about something more serious. Chronic wasting disease. What it is, how it spreads, and my thoughts on what it means for deer hunters like us. You don't want to miss this one. This is Antlers and Hicks. Well, guys, we took a week off. I had to get ready for deer season, but I found this deer at the last minute, just quick enough to where I could get it to you today in this week. What we've got here is a beautiful buck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Looks like gonna be 14 scoreable points. Pretty decent inside spread. It's got good tine length. Circumference measurements look good. Main beams are outstanding. So, what do you guys think? Well, here's one of the 4 scores right here. Is exactly what this deer scores. Look at the rack, tell me what you think, figure out your score. And we're gonna have a special discussion tonight on chronic wasting disease. You're not gonna wanna miss this one, y'all hold tight. Like I told you before, guys, we're gonna score this deer. We're gonna talk about chronic wasting disease. Gonna have a good discussion. Now, I may say some stuff that may not be exactly what y'all think, or may not even be true. This is some stuff that I perceive, and some things, this is my thoughts on chronic wasting disease. But right now, we're gonna score this big, beautiful, like about a, 14-point Illinois. This deer came from Illinois. So, man, I tell you what, it is a hot topic right now in hunting, isn't it? Chronic wasting disease. So what is chronic wasting disease? Well, man, it's a disease. It's a lot kind of like EHD. What is, I'm not exactly sure how I'm gonna say it, but EHD is like blue tongue. That's the old school blue tongue that you always heard, right? And the thing that scared a lot of people about blue tongue was you would have mass die-offs with blue tongue. So it affects the proteins in a deer. I think it's called prions. And those are directly, they share that through saliva, blood, urine, feces, stuff like that. And that's where it really kind of starts becoming a sticky topic, a sticky situation with deer hunting, is because we like for our deer to congregate in an area to where you can shoot them, right? Whether that be an acorn tree or whether that be a corn pile. We kind of like for our deer to be where we can shoot them. You know, there's people who, and don't get me wrong, I like to hunt travel corridors, and I like to hunt places where I know the deer are going to travel through. But, you know, I also like shooting them under an acorn tree or maybe over a corn pile. And that probably fuzz some of you up, but yeah, baby, I'm an opportunist, okay? So, there you go. But CWD is a hot, now I tell you what, it first started in the 60s. I think they found it in like an elk herd or a captive elk in Colorado. Ooh, a long main beam right here. That was over 25 inches. Let's take a look at it. But yeah, they found it in elk in Colorado, and now look how far it's come. I think 34 states now have confirmed cases. How about 25 and 1/8 for this right side main beam? 25 and 1/8. Yeah, man, that's beautiful. I've already made my marks on this rack, so we're going to speed that process up. I remember when I first heard about CWD, because at first when I heard it, I thought it was blue tongue. I thought that's what they were talking about, but it's not. Like I said before, I think it's epizootic hemorrhage disease, something like that. Hey, don't quote me on that. I'm just a good old boy, okay? But that's kind of where that EHD, blue tongue, that's what I always heard. Because we had massive kill-offs all over the United States, I believe, when it came down to blue tongue. So when you saw blue tongue, man, that's a big deal. But CWD isn't like that. How about 3 4/8 for the first point on the right-hand side? 3 4/8, P1. When I first heard of it, I believe that, you know, I'd heard of it a little bit, but it wasn't that big. And then Arkansas, because I'm in Louisiana. Arkansas made it to where if you killed a deer outside the state of Arkansas, you know, you had to do the skull plate. You had to have the meat deboned, all this, that, and the other. And that was a big deal because I know guys who would hunt states like Kansas, Missouri, and stuff like that. They go through Oklahoma and come around to Louisiana so that they wouldn't have to deal with that, you know, breaking down the stuff. I remember Troy Landry, and I hope I ain't speaking out of turn, Mr. Troy, when I say this, but Mr. Troy and them got in trouble in Magnolia, Arkansas. How about 10 and 0/8? 10 and 0/8. Because they came through the state of Arkansas. I don't think they knew about the things that was going on. Arkansas had that rule. They came all the way, slammed through the state of Arkansas, got stopped in Magnolia, I believe it was, and had their deer confiscated. And one of them was like 150-some inch deer. So that's when it really started catching my attention. I'm like, oh my gosh! I mean, they're giving like people tickets and confiscating deer. 10 and 1/8 for this one. 10 and 1/8. And now, I know Arkansas still got it. Louisiana has it now. You can't come into the state of Louisiana with an out-of-state deer unless it's, clean. The skull plate's been got all the stuff off of it, and it's deboned meat and all this, that, and the other. Man, I'm telling you, and we're right here at the Arkansas state line, and it's definitely an issue. About 4 and 1/8. 4 and 1/8. And here's just something that I didn't know until I started really divulging deep into it and looking. Did you know that it lasts in the soil? So let's say a deer dies from chronic wasting disease, and the deer wastes away and dies right there in the soil. It stays in that soil for years. It's what I was told. Now, I may be wrong. If I'm wrong, y'all correct me. But that's what I've been told. Now, how are we going to get ahead of it if it stays in the soil? I mean, you put all the baiting bands you want. If it's in the soil, I mean, unless you dig it up, it's there, and they're still going to be exposed to it. So it's a difficult situation, man. How about 3 and 4/8 for this irregular point right there? 3 and 4/8. So let's count them up. Make sure I got my points right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's it, baby. Let's get these circumference measurements done. And the reason that I wanted to talk about this tonight isn't just because I didn't have a story on this deer. Like I said before, the hunter just dropped the deer off. I don't know anything about it. Other than it came from Illinois and he wanted it scored. But I listened to a reel from Meat Eater the other day. And Steve Ranella, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not a big Steve Ranella fan. And I've got my own personal issues, reasons for that. I'm sure he's a fine human being. How about 4? Man, I can't get, it's just shy, just over 6/8. We're going to say 4 and 7/8 first circumference measurement. 4 and 7/8. But Steve made a good point. He said, I fix up some deer meat right now. Hamburger, ground meat. I got 4 hamburger patties from 4 different deer. And I tell you that 3 of the 4 have chronic wasting disease. Are you going to take a chance and eat that meat? That's a good point. Would you? Now, there's never been a documented case to where CWD affected humans. How about the second circumference measurements, 4 and 2/8? It's never affected humans, ever. Now, I want to say that I heard that macaw monkeys, I think they actually injected the monkeys, though, with CWD, and that's when they got affected. If I'm not mistaken, again, I may be talking outside of school, and if I am, I apologize. But there's never been a documented case of CWD affecting humans. See 3, 4, and 0/8. So, but would you? If you go over somebody's house tonight and they fix you some hamburgers and it's like, hey, one of them's got CWD, y'all be careful. Which one? But I can tell you right now, I'm going to go out and I can say this pretty confidently, 3 and 5/8. 3 and 5/8. If you have hunted, and I'm 47, and I've been hunting since I was probably 7, 8 years old, been eating deer meat since I was big enough to eat meat. If you honestly believe you've never eaten an animal that had CWD, with the way that they're finding them now, I would be hard pressed to say you're probably sadly mistaken. That's just me, because at the rate that they're finding it, it's here. They just never have really tested it for. I'll be honest with you. I know a dude that used to be years and years ago a biologist with the state, And he told me, he said, "I'll tell you why they're finding it." He said, "Because we ain't never really looked hard for it." There you go. That's one reason. So take it for what you will. We're going to flip over, do this left-hand side, and then we'll get to tell the tape. Y'all hold tight. All right, so we're going to do the left-hand side. Again, I've already made my marks on this side. Going to take, now guys, remember, I didn't say this before, but whenever you're measuring your main beams, always start on the lowest pedicle, do a 45-degree angle, run up the back side of the rack, and be extra careful that your hands don't slip. This is a lot of real estate. You want to make sure you get it right. But yeah, I mean, it's a hot debated topic. Some states ban baiting all the way around. Some don't. Louisiana, we ban bait in the zone, and if I'm not mistaken, Louisiana Department of Wildlife Fisheries, don't strike me when I say this, but I believe the zone is a 50-mile radius from where it was found. And the reason I say that is because there was a deer. Now y'all get this. They banned baiting wherever CWD is found, correct? Okay. Union Parish, Louisiana, where I live, they found a deer in South Arkansas in the Felsenthal National Wildlife Refuge. I think it was either 21 or 22 that had CWD. They had in Felsenthal, they have a big hunt every year, and through that hunt, through checking in deer, they tested it for CWD, and they found a deer with CWD in the game reserve, in a refuge, where you can't bait. So why are we banning baiting? You see what I'm saying? There's where the water gets muddy. Anyway, and through that process, Union Parish, Louisiana was affected. Ooh, this is a bigger main beam. How about this? 25 and 4/8. 25 and 4/8. Now, I get the proactiveness, and I have a strong appreciation for being proactive. But I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a topic that I have a lot of mixed feelings on, and I have a lot of friends on both sides of it. I got a lot of friends. I got friends who are biologists with the state. I got friends who are deer hunters. I've got friends who sell feed, who sell deer, corn, rice bran, all that stuff. And I don't know. It's a hard topic right now. I'll tell you this, and it really doesn't look good. And I understand why they do it, but it really, what's the number one thing people say when something like this happens? First point, 5 and 2/8. Well, the first thing they'll say, follow the money. If you follow the money, these states who have chronic wasting disease, they don't get money because they have a lot of cases or because of cases, but they get funding for CWD research. So I won't say that their primary focus is finding chronic wasting disease, but to get money. Let me add that. I don't think it's primarily to get money, but I mean, it doesn't hurt. How about 10 and 3/8? How about 10 and 3/8 for that one on the left-hand side? This side looks like it's going to be a little bit stronger than that other one. Main beams is longer. That 2 is longer. Let's see what the 3 is. This is going to be 10 and 3/8 as well. It's a little bit bigger than that other one. Let's see if this one's bigger than 4 and an 8. I believe it is. Yes, sir. We're going to look at 4 and 7/8. So the left-hand side is stronger. Let me get these irregular points here. 3 and 2/8 for the first irregular point. All right. And then this one is 4 and 7/8. 4 and 7/8 for that one. Let me get this little knob down here on the end. See what this dude is. That way it is 1 inch and 2/8. And on this side, I'm trying not to get in front of the camera. There we go. It's going to grow. This will be the better side. It's going to be 1 inch and And what I did was I hooked it underneath because it's growing off the base here. It's going to be 1 6/8 inches. 1 6/8 inches. I got a little puppy, and he's out here getting too far. Get your tail back up there. There you go. Come on. I got to get on him. His name is Savo. He's a good little fella. Beautiful little Catahoula puppy. You know, I state dog Louisiana, baby, so I got to represent the state dog. All right, going on to bases now. This is 5 0/8 on the first circumference measurement. But yeah, and I'll tell you this, right, wrong, or indifferent, it's here. And we got to figure out, you know, what you can do to successfully enjoy your hunting season around a possible CWD ban if your state bans it if it hadn't banned it before. Like our state right now where I'm at, it's not banned anymore. They did a lot. They tested like 300 deer that year when they shut down because of that South Arkansas deer. And they lifted it. 4 1/8. 4 1/8. So when they lifted it, now we can feed again. But I guarantee you, they done moved the buffer zone for CWD up to our neighboring parish, and I fully expect it to come. 4 0/8. But that's it, man. CWD's here. And a lot of people, if you listen to Ted Nugent, Ted's got a lot, and there's a lot of stuff sometimes. Ted to me is kind of like President Trump. He runs his mouth a little bit too much, but he's got some good points. Dude's got some great points, and go listen to what he's got to say, because I will say he's got some of the best talks on chronic wasting disease that I've heard from a hunter standpoint. 3 5/8. About 3 5/8. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's it, baby. And the 4 circumference measurements. Let's see what the let's see what the inside spread is. Again, all this stuff I just said, that's just my viewpoint, man. If I'm right, I'm right. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If you don't agree with it, if you've got a better point, please leave it in the comments. And tell me, what do you think the inside spread on this thing is? Leave that in the comments as well. I'm looking at it. I'm thinking 15 4/8. Golly, was I wrong? Woo, old G Hicks was wrong on this one. This dude's almost 18 inches. We're going to say 17 6/8. 17 6/8 on the inside spread. So you've seen it, baby. You've seen the great main beams. You've seen the tall tines. What do you think the score is? I don't know. But I tell you what, tail of the tape coming up. All right, folks, well, the tail of the tape is in, and I think it's going to fool a lot of people. First off, let's start on the right-hand side of this rack. The right-hand side, we got a 25 1/8 inch main beam. These two tines right here are over 10 inches. I got one at 10 inches and one that's 10 1/8. The first circumference measurements 4 7/8 at the bases. It goes 4, 4, 4, and 3. Beautiful right-hand side. We have one irregular point right here that was 3 4/8. The total inches of antler on the right-hand side, 73 1/8. So let's move to the left-hand side of the rack. This is where it really starts to get impressive. We have 3 irregular points. 1, 2, 3. These 3 points together totaled up to a 9 7/8 inches of irregularity on the left-hand side. Main beam, 25 4/8. These two tines right here, both of them were 10 3/8 inches long. The base is 5 inches. Then it goes 4, 4, and 3. The total inches of antler on the left-hand side is clearly the strongest at 83 0/8. So when you add 83 0/8 to the 73 1/8, you get 156 1/8 inches of antler. Then you add in the inside spread of 17 6/8. You get a Buckmaster score of 173 7/8 for this deer out of Illinois. I can't tell you how much I really appreciate this hunter for dropping this deer off. Thank you so much. I hope the chronic wasting wasn't boring. You know, I'm just out here just trying to give you guys some information, some stuff that's on my mind, and show you how to score a deer. My name is Greg Hicks. This is Antlers and Hicks. And as always, I want to encourage you guys to live your life past 20 yards. We'll see y'all next week.